Now, students in the UK should have been taking exams this month, many to try to gain a place at university. But the coronavirus pandemic has meant they have been called off. Racial equality groups are concerned that the alternative assessments may be biased against black and other minority as well as lower socio-economic background students, potentially hampering long-term social mobility. The BBC's Rodri Davis reports.
Student Jay Ferguson is aiming this summer to do what his parents did not and secure a place at university. But the coronavirus pandemic has heightened concerns that might not happen. He's been sitting down to do coding, internships and networking online since schools were closed and exams cancelled. He scored AAB grades in mock A-level exams, but he's unable to see where a replacement system of teachers' predicted grades will leave his ambitions.
Yeah, everyone is feeling nervous, just like me, I guess. Some people feel okay because some people have really good predicted grades, but then those who have lower predicted grades but put in the effort to do better for the exams, they've had that opportunity taken from them.
And the exact forces at play in teachers' grading is unclear, with concerns over potential unconscious bias, particularly against black, other minority and poorer students.
The bias that some teachers may have, maybe an unconscious bias even, it just needs to be, people just need to be made aware and sort of analyse themselves and try and look upon the student as a whole, holistically.
Yet the UK government says it will grade students holistically based on teacher assessment, mock exam results and assignments. Shut schools and exams being called off have affected hundreds of thousands of pupils' plans in the short term, but there are concerns that any possible ramifications could have impacts in the long term. Initially, that's in trying to get into one of these, a university. Whilst the research is indefinitive, some says that only 16% of predicted grades are accurate, and while 75% of applicants are over-predicted, black students are most likely to be under-predicted. So a coalition of race equality organisations wrote to the Department of Education. They called for compliance with the Equality Act by assessing for and identifying any institutional racism and bias and taking steps to mitigate any impact. But the government has not adopted those recommendations.
There is a lack of data, there is a lack of proper data, there is a lack of proper research on this issue. And the lack of data and the lack of research doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist. And what the public sector equality duty would have done is enable the schools to use the data that they have to identify any systemic bias.
In response, England's exams regulator said to the BBC in a statement, "The arrangements we have put in place this summer are fairest in the circumstances," and it says students unhappy with their grades can sit exams towards the end of this year. That would mean more time lost, more problems gained, and more concerns for social mobility. Rodri Davis, BBC News.